What is this? Why is stream now? These may be questions that are going through all of my zero viewers' heads. Because the stream's just started. And it's at a time that I don't normally stream. And I will get to all of these momentarily. But first, I'm going to load the level I was working on last week. Now, I haven't worked on this since last week. We spent this week bug fixing because we released we opened up the campaign again, and with it came a load of bugs to do with the movement code and other changes that have been made. So we've been working our way through those, and it's actually been going quite well. We hammered through a load of them, like yesterday and the day before. So there's a big bug fix patch that should be coming out today, actually. And there's a few reasons why things are a bit different this week, including this stream. I'm not going to be streaming on Friday. I am indeed instead streaming now. Isn't it? And that's because my week's a bit different this week. And also within that, I'm also doing the build today rather than at the weekend. And the build this week's just going to be a bug fixing build pretty much entirely. So don't get overexcited. There's no amazing new content, but there is a lot of bug fixes coming for the problems that were in the last build. I'm also going to have to rebuild paths on all the levels. So I'll be doing that this afternoon. That'll be my job this afternoon once the stream's over. Or I might even start rebuilding the paths during the stream if we get to that point. So for now, I'm going to continue working on this level. Where did we get to? I'm also going to chat again, as per usual, about the things that have been happening this week within the game and what's coming next. And it's also some features that are being worked on whilst we're bug fixing this. Matt started work on features for the next update, next major update. So, where were we? Okay, so we got the pipe coming down. I think that was working fine. We got to get 20 eruptors to it. Then constant assault. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. I had the UI. Come on. I don't know where I got with this, so we'll just hit play and we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's working. Oh, I did actually get it working, didn't I? Okay, so it looks like I actually achieved that. That needs to tick. So it looks like I need to set up, I'm assuming I need to set up defeat to do with this. that needs to tick. That needs time. Okay, so there's a few things here. Okay. So, first of all, where's the... Okay. So this is the bar progression. So if... So let's do the defeat check here. So, you're right, Pick of Death. Good to have you back with us. I'll run over the stuff I explained at the start in about 10 minutes time again to explain why I'm here today. So if bar progression is less than or equal to 0, defeat action. Okay, so there's built-in defeat for this section of the game. Alternatively, I can constantly check for that. That actually might be a good idea because it's going to happen multiple times in the level. Not switch. Right, Huffner. Nerd, good to have you with us. Okay, so I'm going to add a function in here and we'll just run it. This can be... check. I'm adding a couple of functions in here. Check. Bar defeat. Okay, so check bar defeat is literally just going to be that. I'll also check actually no, I don't need to check that because I can just run this only when we need to. Okay, so timer tick, that's going to need a... This is... I'm trying to do on-screen timers here. Oh no, level code. Okay, so my guess is that down here I've literally just... Yeah, UI timer. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna track this here. We're going to set that to 60 here, and then we're going to be dealing with it in tick timers instead. So basically, if UI timer is greater than 0, we tick it down. So if it's greater than 0, we tick it down, we set it on the UI itself. If it's not, we just set it on the UI itself to 0. Set UI timer text. What is this? Something like keep. Keep tube supplied. That's probably fine. I think I only need to change that once. I'll come back to chat in a moment. I'm just what am I doing? This is waves graph. So this only needs to be changed once, and I think I can just do it at the beginning of the level. However, I'm skipping the beginning of the level at the moment, so well, let's do this. So this can be the setup for the waves, and then I can create a custom event. They're called begin sequence. And this can now be my new one. And then that can just call begin sequence. Okay. Okay, so if progress bar's on screen, then we also need to check bar defeat as well as tick it down. What else? Timer tick. Sequence. Okay, let's see what that does. You're right, the crazy scientist. What are you doing here? You're checking up on the formicarium. Making sure it's got it's being amply tested. Okay, so the changes that are coming in are mostly bug fixes here. There's quite a lot of commits. So movement fixes for large massive creatures. One case of jumping up a ledge and getting stuck on a ramp. So there's some bug fixes there. Fixed the lingering issue with debug spheres. Whilst that's the debug spheres, you don't care about that. Added in some checks for swarm points, missing in a couple of landmarks. Okay, so that's a bug that's been occurring, which is quite a dramatic one. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's one in free play at the minute where you can end up with like an infinite amount of wood ants spawning from the fish landmark, and what happens is their target point gets removed by the free play code, which is designed to stop too many creatures being spawned, and therefore they don't have a target point, so they don't go to the fish. So all they do is constantly spawn, and you end up with hundreds of them. And because it's not assigning them to the swarm to their target point, there's no register of them anywhere, so it literally becomes an infinite amount of wood ants. It's quite dramatic when it happens, but yeah, there's a fix in for that now. Crash protection for... Okay, so there's been a couple of crashes people have been getting, which are actually due to plant climbing, and ants going missing whilst climbing plants. I'm not exactly sure what causes it, but it could be all manner of things, like creatures getting killed whilst climbing plants, like properly killed, like removed. But it's only happened. There's only been a few reports of it, but there's a fix in for that now. There's some development visuals left in one of the levels on one of the ramps. Minims appear on leaves. Minims appear on leaves now when carried by level 3 mages or Medea. So that's the visual defense for the forest flies. I actually haven't seen that yet. I want to see it. So what I need is a level 3 Major or Medea. On one of the levels where there's lots of leaves. Have a quick look, because I'm intrigued. .2 is a good one. I'll put cheats on so I can just rush there. Okay, so carrying on with the underground path arrows now face the right way when the pheromone marker is placed overground. Oh right, I didn't realise they were broken. Funny things you miss. Okay, so if I just turn the cheats on quickly. I want to see this. I'm not going to save this level. Have army ants been fixed? They were allied. Yes, that one's been fixed. I'll explain that one in a second.
Near the base of a tree. The location provides prime access to lucrative harvesting grounds which have gone unchallenged for the past few weeks. However, unbeknownst to the ants, the peace is about to be broken. A scourge is drawing in. It will be here by morning.
I'll explain what was going on with that in a second. It was quite a strange issue to track down. I did manage to track it down yesterday. So I think it might only appear on them when they're carrying leaves. I need a leaf store. That's enough. Oh yeah. I might ask Matt about having them ride the mages themselves as well, because it does apply to them even if they're not carrying leaves. But the idea is they're there to help fight off fireflies. Is there one on that tiny leaf? Yes, there is. Cute. Oh, that was weird. Oh no, it wasn't weird. Of course, the mages fade out as they go into the tunnel exit, else they're... Oh. It actually looks like they fade in for a second. Oh, that might be a bug. Like they fade in for a second when they're just going through.
The ants will fight to the death.
Okay, so talking about the army ants, so something really weird was happening. Well, it wasn't really weird. Essentially, Liam's put an optimization in to the kind of creature search code where they search for other things, and they and what it does is it looks at enemy creatures that it's allied with, and it only sees creatures that it's not allied with. Now this is set up at the moment the creatures spawn. So for example, if a creature spawns and it's colony ID -1, which is most of the neutral enemies, and then another creature spawns and it's but then if you change that colony ID, its vision stuff's already been set up. And what Liam was doing in this level was setting them up with their colony ID, then changing.
Legion of nomadic Essaton Berkeley army ants are preparing to march. They set up camp late last night and will now conduct daily swarming raids on the surrounding areas until they see fit to move on.
He was setting the colony ID, then changing it immediately afterwards. So it set them up as if they were allied with the army ants, and then changed it.
The army ants have arrived. They will sweep eastward, swarming everything they find. Larvae-filled ant colonies up at
Yeah, there you go.
right.
See, they're going for the attack now.
Defensive force with the right tools to repel the aggressors will be left alone. The leafcutters must prove to the invaders that they are more trouble than they are worth.
So yeah. So that's fixed. So that should make unfortunately, the way the game controls work, it'll be a massive hassle to unlock mouse controls for the camera for photo mode. I'm not putting time into that at the moment. So yeah, those so yeah, that should make this level quite a lot easier, or reduce it back to the point. I don't know how much that's affecting the difficulty, but I know definitely in the past, like army ants were dealing with the praying mantises and that sort of thing, so it would kind of help. They would kind of help you out a lot in certain situations. Or you could wait till they're attacking something, then attack them, so you've got a you can do more damage. So we'll see how much that changes things. Those minim visuals, can they block underground? That's a good question. Because the previous ones didn't they? I would hope not, but I haven't tested it myself. I'm assuming Matt's just set them to have no collision at all. There's no reason for them to have any collision. Anyway, I'm getting off this level now. I'm going to get back to the level I was working on. Right, I'm going to carry on reading some of the things. So changes to collision resolution and wall detection to help with difficult collision shapes. Move collision boxes on ramps. Okay, Liam's toying around with ramps a little bit. Fix added for issues with swarm points being removed from landmarks. So that's the one I was talking about with the infinite wood ants spawning in free play. And hard checks added to make sure the points exist before spawning a creature. Fixed an ant speed problem on climbable, but that's one that wasn't actually in the build, so you won't know about that. Liam's changed a few collision settings on plants in 3.1, so some plants can be walked through and that sort of thing. Things that were blocking movement. Fixed a virtual machine null reference error in the leaf chunks. Fair enough. Objective difficulty is removed when the objective is complete. Okay, so this one's about free play. So in free play, you someone noticed that if you continue play after completing a setup objective in free play, the difficulty continues to increase exponentially. So what I've done instead is I've just zeroed the the objective based difficulty increase if you continue play. So it should suddenly become a lot easier rather than getting exponentially harder. Fix the leg twitch in the leafcutter minim repel fly animation. Okay. Removed a sequence from surface tunnel that was doing nothing. Yeah, ignore that. Random point with floor now used in emergency tunnel exit checks. Oh, this one was to do with an emergency tunnel exit check is in place. So if you load, if it's which was to do with the new tunnel exit, but it was causing some leaf cuts to get stuck. So that's been tweaked, so it should no longer happen. So if anyone's got all their loads of leaf cut majors stuck on top of their tunnel exit, they should free themselves now. Tweak some nodes on a ramp. Okay, fix the food redrop box in formicarium 2. So any food that's underneath your formicarium in formicarium 2 should now be moved to the surface, along with a fix that stops the food going there in the first place. Beach tiger beetle larvae in 3.1 now spawn with a cut height and now should attack again because of that. Did the same for 2.2. Fix the waiting time on mole cricket spawns in 1.2, so that's 1.2 challenge mode been fixed. Creatures drop things more sensibly on the tile grid where they can be picked up. So this is to do with dropping food off ramp edges, off wall edges and that sort of thing. it's now got a proper fix for it. So it can now be dropped over the ledge if it will be accessible over the ledge. If it wouldn't be accessible over the ledge, it drops it on top of it teleports it slightly more onto the ledge. Some fixes for firefly spawners. Food drop and resource move to, problems fixed. And redundant resource scans removed from gather subtree. So that should be an efficiency saving. Although we'll need to keep our eye out for food gathering bugs there. It's an optimization that could potentially affect that. No colony ID switching allowed in patrols anymore. Okay, so that's the issue with the army ants there. Fix for attack formic 2 ending before spiders killed. So hopefully it should be no longer possible to win formicarium 2 before you kill all the spiders. Added a debug info to the path fail in OG tile grid. Okay, it's just debugging. Yeah, it's more debug there. Move some plants slightly on 2.1 and change their collision properties. I think you mean 3.1. There's no plants on 2.1. They're on the play area. Reconnected wood amp projectile impact effects. Okay. And creatures should no longer get stuck on each other if they load in the same place. That will apply to jumping spiders as well, or jumping to the same location. They shouldn't get stuck anymore. Okay, so it's very much a fix-filled patch will be the one today. Okay, so let's check whether this works. So the timer should be ticking down now. Yeah, there we are. Timer's ticking down. I should also be defeated when this hits 0. So we just check that happens. Oh, I should probably point this camera slightly higher. You don't want to see my head cut off. Oh, what a lovely
Perhaps this new colony will prove to be a superior research subject.
what a great video. Well, I've got to switch that. I've got to deal with all the switch the route around all the other stuff anyway. That bar needs to disappear as well on defeat. Okay. So the defeat kicks in and the thing works, so we can move on, I think. Right, back in a minute. I'm just gonna get a drink. How was my chair? Was it lovely and entertaining? Okay. I'm going to work on the level a little bit longer, then I'm going to start rebuilding paths on levels. Alright, Smiles 2019. Problem is, I've never figured out how to chair properly. I either sit on my knees or sit cross-legged on the thing. One day I'll figure out how to chair. The problem is, those two methods of sitting have completely different heights, so it depends what I pick. Maybe I need a webcam which tracks me. Are there any balance changes coming in the near future for babysitting level? I haven't made any yet. What's the so the feeling is it's really hard, is it? Have you tried it on the easiest mode? How do you find it on the easiest mode still really hard? Okay, so there's this tube UI timer. So when the UI timer so if it's less than or equal to 0 after we've ticked it down there, then we set it to 0. Timer finished. Yep, tried on easy, still get wrecked. I've yet to find a way to win on insane. I can't get my ally past the funnel webs. Right, yeah. So yeah. So the I think the funnel webs are particularly harsh on that. I think on insane mode it adds quite a lot of funnel webs, possibly to a point where there's just so many murdering your ants that you can't actually take them on. Maybe I need to dial the funnel webs back a bit. I think there's still an issue with the funnel web pickup as well. That hasn't been addressed yet. And it won't be addressed in time, unfortunately, because I need a clear head to deal with that one in a full day, because that pickups across the game still have issues. Oh, there's not. Oh, he's not. He's not done. He's not done testing you yet. Smiles. The scientist has more plans for you yet. Even though the project's closing, and the female scientist wants him to get rid of the colony now because the project's done. He's not done. He's not done with you yet. Okay, so timer finished. Yeah, he breaks that rule pretty instantly, doesn't he? I think the data they're collecting is going to be useless because he's been fudging his real tests. Okay, so I need to concentrate. Timer tick. Ooh, that's a point. Until this point, I've just been ending this based on these timers. Oh, okay. All right, well, instead of this then, what we'll do is set timer. Instead of the UI timer, I'm going to use this instead. And then I don't need to do any of that. However, do you need to do this? So if it's valid, I don't actually need to tick the timer because it will tick itself. If it's valid and greater than 0, then we set the UI timer. Well, we set the visual of the timer. Don't need to do this anymore. Right, give that a go. See what happens. I've not tried this before. Using the UI, using the voice acting is done so well. Yeah, we were very lucky to get those voice actors. We ran online auditions for them. I wonder now the Gene Thief Ant. How's it Thief Genes? I'm gonna say Thief. I don't want to get done by Games Workshop. Well, what is meant by stealing genes? Yeah, we haven't really gone into the pseudoscience of it. I don't want to go too heavily down that road. But because the more you explain that sort of thing, the more difficult it gets to explain. But interestingly, our campaign plans originally for the game were quite different. The formicarium came about as kind of reeling our plans in a little bit because they were a bit too wide in scope. But we still might go back to the original plans one day. But in some of the original plans, the colony needed to you needed to kill a queen of the colony you wanted. You were taking genetic matter from, or whatever to talk about. So yeah, there was originally that's kind of how it was going to progress. How things have things have changed now. The way the stories come together is changing. I mean, as a colony, you're meant to be. It's kind of hinted that you've been genetically modified as a colony. Like you're not a product of nature. You're a product of scientific experiment to do with this jelly. Yeah, keep an eye on references to the jelly. It's gonna play a bigger part in things to come. Okay, so we've got timer remaining. Yeah, so okay, I think that'll work fine. But I've got no real way of telling. Let's see. Okay, so that's ticking down fine. Okay. So I think I can get rid of this now. Where's it in use? It's not in use. You're lying. Sometimes it says that because it's in an undo command or something. There is kind of a sci-fi aspect to our game, although it's played down very much in the campaign. We don't want to go too sci-fi. There's kind of a hint of biological engineering here. Right, so finally I can move on to the next voice line, which I need to actually look up to see what where's the trombone. Unfortunately, I was never very good with the wind instruments. That piano there is not even mine. That's Liam's. He's the piano player. He's the guy who writes the music on the game. But he's got a better one. And he left it round here because me and Liam used to play in a band together. So it was here, actually in my old house, just because Liam kept it there for band practice. Yeah. And then it's just ended up there. What actually happened at one point is I said, Liam, if you don't take this back, I'm going to sell it. And he said, you can sell it. And he called my bluff. I've never got around to selling it. I'm not going to go into specifics of what's coming up. Okay. So where did we get to? So we got a sustained flow of aggressors. You're doing admirably, Raptors. Looks like I had food at this point. Okay, I've got so as far as I'm aware, this is the X1. Yeah, this is you are doing admirably, my Raptors. Perhaps a small reward. Look to the surface. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is have another timer going on at the same time. So this one is going to be the overall one. This one's going to trigger the reward. So this is going to get a little bit messy. So this is 60, 70, 80. It's actually going to be 80 seconds now. This one is going to be 60 seconds. So after 60 seconds, we're going to trigger the food reward. After 80 seconds. Yeah? Hang on, one second. What time is it actually? Pretty soon I've got to start building these levels, also I'll never get this building out in time. Okay, you're doing... Okay, so this one is... Let's make things a bit more interesting, shall we? Enter the Devil's Coach Horse. Okay. So these are literally just voice lines going on in the meantime. So capital L in there by accident. So what I actually want is two things going on at the same time. So here, that needs food reward. Wait, how do I do food rewards? I can't remember. Spawn seeds, there we are. Some simultaneous timers going on. I don't know what happened there. So maybe 40 seconds later. So this one is, let's make things more interesting, shall we? Enter the Devil's Coach Horse. I don't really know how the timings are going to feel on this, but I'm going to have to play it to feel it out, really. Custom events. Whoops, they seem to have dropped my beetles. I hope they don't harm those lance. Then perhaps that's enough for now. Okay. Whoops. Which is that one. And then this is the end of the flow. Perhaps that's enough for now. Right, I'm probably going to add some enemies in during this as well, but because it'd get very boring if you weren't actually attacking anything during this process. Perhaps that's enough for now then. 20 seconds later. So at this point he says, the lady says, how was the colony responding? They mounted an excellent defense against 2025, 30 frenzy. Perfect. Perhaps we can provide more of a challenge next time. What a fantastic suggestion. Right, I've got objective disappears here. Where was the objective? I should probably complete it. Be nice if you just saw the list of completed objectives you've managed. This is the objective. Oh no. Okay, those were mini objectives. 20 eruptors. Where's the constant assault objective? Okay, it doesn't look like it's been added yet. Right. I'm going to leave that there for now. I'll come back to it. I need to start going through the levels and rebuilding the paths. So I'll stay on stream whilst I'm doing this. But there's going to be a lot of me basically just going through levels. So some of the changes that Liam's made will affect paths in the game, the pre-built paths in the game. And so I have to go through and rebuild the paths. I want to check with him whether I need to... I don't think I need to do underground ones. I think it's just the surface ones. Uh, okay, yeah, it looks like it's just the surface I need to build. Fireflies work great, by the way. Oh, that's good. Yeah, they should force you to rethink strategies in certain levels. In those levels, which is what they're meant to do. They're meant to add a spanner in the works. Okay, so I'm leaving that level for now. So whilst I do this, I'm going to be going through the levels and just rebuilding the paths. It's quite a boring task. And you're just going to see me basically staring at the screen. What I like to do is take a look at all levels that are in the game. So I take a screenshot of the list of levels that get packaged with the game. And then I manually cross them off as I'm going through in Paint. Because I'm that sophisticated in my development techniques. Those test achievements are pretty tough. Okay. Possible to clear a group of fireflies with one level 3 major ant? You know, it would be. That's a really interesting exploit. You create a single level 3 major ant and you make him loiter around a group of flying fireflies. That's a really good point. You are one of the most out-of-the-box thinkers. Half nerd. Need to make a note of that. Maybe some protection I can put in. Like they can only clear one every 5 minutes or something. Have you been taking a look at the achievements then? Okay, so a full list of levels. Oh no, hang on. No, fireflies. Exploit. Use single major. It's a really interesting point there. I hadn't even considered that. Okay, so going through the levels. First one is the lab formicarium. I'm literally just going through the list that I've got next to me. I think outside the box, there first needs to be a box. Very true. I've been enjoying attempting them. I've been close to 1.1, 15 minutes and mole crickets. I'm usually in the last chamber when it fails. The achievements again have not yet been balanced. I'm glad you've been giving them a go. who did the science voice acting. He's got a Twitter account actually. I know he tweeted about the game not that long ago. I can't remember who it is. You can look in the game's credits from the main menu and it'll tell you who it is, but whether you can use that to find their Twitter handle, might be able to find it. Okay, so I need to rebuild the paths on here. I'm going to check with Liam if I need to... Okay, it's fine. I can rebuild all the paths. It's fine. So I just need OG tile grid. Okay. If you want to see what rebuilding paths looks like, I can bring you back onto my main screen. Liam, in his infinite wisdom, set up a checkbox which automatically unchecks when you tick it, rather than a button. You can set up buttons properly in the thing, but Liam seems to have gone for this method. So I tick this box, it immediately unticks, then it tells me that it's rebuilt the pathing info. Okay, so that one wasn't too bad, but then I've got to save each level. So I hit the save button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so that was 17 seconds to rebuild Lab Formicarium 1. Now that is one of the smallest levels. It's one of the smallest surface levels. So now I'm going to new homes next in the list. It doesn't need rebuilding, doesn't have a surface. Subjugation doesn't need rebuilding, doesn't have a surface. Rising tide. So I'll cross those ones off because they don't need rebuilding. Okay, rising tide stage 2. Hey, you guys got to know if there are achievable achievements, right? I love that for the most part it's not simple stuff aside from finishing the usual levels. With the achievements, I will do a balance pass of them. So all these like stuff going into the game, a lot of it gets a balance pass. The achievements haven't had one yet because they're not really being achievable. They're not up to now. So I'm going to need feedback on it. I mean, the ones that are on challenge. There's achievements for challenge mode insane, and like specific, like interesting things for it. But they're probably too hard, so I need to probably dial them back. I mean, completing challenge mode on insane's an achievement enough, to be honest. But there is an achievement for that, I believe. Yeah, I didn't want to do boring achievements. I kind of don't see the point in boring achievements. So I wanted to do specific things that make the level more interesting. Yeah, 3.2 is practically impossible as it stands. I've got the ideas, the achievements in... hang on, I need to set this path rebuilding. The achievements in the first section of the formicarium are ready. I just need to upload them to Steam and they'll start working. And I will do that probably when we've got a release date for the for this patch, like a proper release date, and I'll unlock the achievements, allow people to get them. And I'll probably do a final balance pass before that, just to make sure that they are kind of at least vaguely in the right area. But I've also, the second tier formicarium, I have all the achievements planned out. And I've even put in hooks in the levels for them to be achievable. But I haven't yet made the icons and that sort of thing for those. Considering thank you for the comment. I thought it was just bad at it. I so far can only do 1.1 and 1.2 on insane. Yeah, those two are probably the most achievable insane levels, but I think that's right. I think those two should be the most achievable at insane levels. I think Rising Tide's pretty hard, and then actually Rising Tide and Queen of the Hill are both really hard on insane, and then Leafcutter insane, you have to, it's a whole new level. I suspect we'll be dialing back things a little bit in the Leafcutter levels for insane mode, but there's plenty more balancing to do on the game. It's in constant flux, and I don't suspect it will ever stop being in flux. I'll always take balance passes at things. Rising Tide. Rising Tide is a good level. What's been fixed? Oh yeah, below the ground. Yeah. That fix is coming. 1.2 insane needs an achievement surviving 1 hour on challenge mode. More crickets equals renewable food. That's a good point. They don't give a huge amount of food to mole crickets, but by the time your colony's big enough. Ooh, looks like Matt needs to be paint. Oh no, hang on. That's just because I've got it selected. Okay, so that's done. So that's okay. So next level, critters doesn't need anything. The nest doesn't need anything. Holdout doesn't need. Surrounded doesn't need anything. The dunes. Okay, we're onto some free play maps now. What I might do now is just do all the free play maps in one go. I was thinking of doing some hidden achievements in the game. I haven't. There's only one at the minute, which is to do with the Halloween level. It's completing the Halloween level. I haven't got one for the Christmas level yet. You like the kill all creatures level. So you like, you mean like 1-1? I like all kill all creature levels. More like that, because most levels are a race against the clock or other ants. Yeah, most levels are kind of a progressive race against the clock. Yes, there will be more. There will be more kill all creature levels. I mean, Aggrandize is like an extreme version of that, right? And in Grandize, you've got huge amounts of creatures that of all types. But yeah, there will be more like that. with the monthly levels, well, I say monthly, the extra levels coming soon. So cross these out. Okay, so that was the dunes. I'll do Towhead next. Yeah. The Grandize is the kill the huge whip spider level, and that level plays like it's almost like a puzzle. So you've got to figure out which areas to attack next to build your colony up the most efficient way. I did enjoy putting that one together, and it was nice to see that it worked at the end. See, I do like those levels, and I will certainly in the monthly levels be no, the extra levels. I'll be adding one to that every now and again, of that style every now and again. The current extra level I'm working on is the oh dear. Oh, it's okay. It's just a breakpoint. I thought it was a crash then, but it's not. It's a breakpoint. Oh no, hang on, that might be a crash. Range check. Tweak border nodes. Right, give me a sec. I need to send this to the others. Yeah, it's crashed. Right. Okay. I think I need to deal with that crash, which I need to work with the others on. Yeah, I guess you could say it's a game knowledge level. Once you've got a feel for each creature and how dangerous they are, or what they what will likely work against them, then you can plan your attack. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be about to do the stream later in the week, so my next stream will be next week. It's half term here, so we've got some plans. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop it here because I'm going to need to deal with that crash. So yeah, look for this build coming out later today, so long as I can get this thing sorted. So yeah, shouldn't be too far away. So in the next 2 to 3 hours, there should be a build up which you'll have all these bug fixes in. Tested the lone level 3 versus the fireflies. Took some time, but the fireflies all left. Yeah, I'm gonna have to address that. I wonder whether I can do something like after an ant's sent a firefly away, it can't send another one away for a while. or something along those lines. That is going to need addressing, because you can literally just put one level 3 major in all the Firefly camps, and it'll clear them out slowly. So yeah, thanks for joining. That's great. Half Nerd. I'm sure you'll find all the things we never thought about. You're very good at that. It does require a one-size chamber. You could surround it by you could make a bigger chamber and then sell the tiles. Yeah, highway tiles. We still need to address that, actually. I think we did decide that they should only provide 1 point. Right. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. I will see you next week. There'll be a build out later today. Hopefully next week I'll find some time to address some more balance issues as well, because we're getting very close now to ready for ready to put the build out there. We've addressed almost all the bugs that came with this one, but there are a few lingering bugs that we still need to work on. So it'll be that next week, and hopefully some balance as well. Hopefully we can get this out to people soon. This movement code update, and we've also done sweeping profiling and performance improvements, which have had impacts and caused bugs throughout the game. But your constant help with the testing has been fantastic. It's really helped us get through and get through to what we need to fix and that sort of thing. One more question: is there a roadmap? It was a while. The last time we put out a roadmap, we haven't met it really. What I think we should probably do in the near future is, rather than an exact roadmap, more of a sequence. Because as soon as we start trying to pin times on things, it all goes alright. I mean, the movement code was meant to take 3 months, and it ended up taking double that. And it's still, and we're still dealing with bugs coming from that. But we've also introduced this new content now, and the idea of the extra levels being introduced is that with less effort we can increase the content, because the extra level content doesn't need to be as high fidelity as the campaign content. It doesn't need the voiceovers and all of that. It just needs an interesting level and interesting objectives. Although I think the one I'm taking on at the minute with the On the Other Foot level is the most ambitious one I've done so far, because it is a storyline based one. Anyway, we'll see it. We'll discuss the roadmap internally maybe, and see if we can come up with some sort of idea. Right, I need to get going because I need to get this problem fixed and then continue to build the levels. So I will see you next week. Thanks for joining me. See you then.